I've got something special to show you today here on cityline.ca, and it's something that actually kind of happened by accident. For the past 10 years, I've been an editor, and what's happened is I've sort of set aside compacts or beauty products that I thought are particularly beautiful. And they've just sort of been in a box, and then all of a sudden I sort of started to go through them, and this is what I consider to be some of the very best beauty design of the last decade. So I want to show you some of the highlights of my beauty archives. So let's start over here. This was the first collaboration that Pucci did with Guerlain. And if you can sort of see, Pucci was always known, this is an authentic pattern that I believe was from 1947. It's great, it's got these turquoises and these purples. And what Guerlain did was took inspiration from that, took that print and did limited edition packaging for it. It was so beautiful, and if you sort of see here, this was the star product. So it was Emilio Pucci for Guerlain, and again, this amazing bronzing palette, and it came in this polished wood compact that had magnets on it, and it slid into this amazing little pouch right here. Again, they don't produce too many of these. They had the wonderful Guerlain meteorites, and again, they had this wonderful print. And the other thing that I thought was really fun was they did a bronzing brush, a powder brush that had the blue that is from the actual scarf print right inside it, and I thought that was so great, and it slid into one of these little cases. So what's interesting about these is beauty companies quite often will do these in very limited numbers for their very best customers. They don't make a lot of money from them, but they're so special that it really sort of elevates the brand and has a reason to go and take a look at them. And it really demonstrates the artistry of beauty with different kinds of fashion designers, with different kinds of visual artists. So again, this was really special. They did a couple of collaborations. There's a pink version that was a couple of years later, but again, this was the first one and I loved it, so I've sort of set it aside. Up next, we have Chanel. Now this is, I think, the best compact they've ever done. This was the Coromandel de Chanel. And you can see this print right here. It's an Asian-inspired print. It's the same print from Coco Chanel's apartment in Paris. She has a Coromandel screen. She had one in her apartment, and this is the exact print from it. I thought this was so intricate and beautifully done. And again, this was very limited edition. This was, I'm guessing, about 8 years ago that they produced this. I thought it was so well done. They also did, and they've done a series of them, I thought that this was so great. So look at the sequins on this actual palette. It's so detailed, and I think what was interesting about this is, if you read in the news, Chanel bought a lot of the fine craftsmen that did a lot of the detailing in Paris for the haute couture. So a lot of the, you know, the little accessories, the little detailing that they did, the people that did all the feathers, they've bought those to be able to keep that artistry alive. So again, this was really a reflection of their history and their commitment to craftsmanship, and I thought this was really beautifully done. So again, this was from a few years ago at Christmas time. Really beautifully done. Again, we go back to Guerlain, and this was almost like an Incan design that they did at Holiday again. But again, like, look at how detailed it is. Like, if you sort of see, these are works of art, and I just thought that this was so beautifully done that I just sort of set it aside, and I just to appreciate what they do. So again, that's really special. That was an eyeshadow palette, I believe. Then we have Lancome, and Lancome did an elephant compact one season, and this was really big in the 30s. If you sort of notice in the 30s, elephants and anything that was sort of Indian was a big theme in decor, and this sort of really reflects it, I thought. This was really beautifully done. So they did this one season, and I sort of set that aside. Next up, a pair of compacts from Dior. And Dior, here was a butterfly collection that they did one season. And you can sort of see there's a trio of butterflies here. And you'll notice that there's the bow. So the bow is a real signature for the House of Dior. And they use it in the fashion, but they also use it in the accessories, and they use it in the beauty. So you'll see the bows pop up again and again and again with Dior. And then this was butterflies and flowers. I thought that this was kind of pretty too as well. If you're looking to collect compacts, as a lot of people are starting to do now, YSL is a house that really does it very well, and I brought a collection of some of the best ones that they've done. So again, this was a stunning Love Yves Saint Laurent palette with a heart in it and the actual script, the Yves Saint Laurent script in it. This was an opium inspired, so another Asian inspired compact that they did. Again, beautifully designed. Look at this, we talked about the bow from the house of Dior, but also with YSL here. We have it here with a mannequin with a beautiful bow, this dress. And then Love Dior. So again, this was sort of like almost 60s inspired with this whole theme for it. But again, beautifully designed. And what's interesting about this is these are now going on eBay for a lot of money. So you set it aside and these are becoming collectibles because you can sort of see they're little works of art. This was from a few years ago, a summer collection from MAC, and they did this whole seahorse theme, and I thought that this was so beautifully done. So again, this gold seahorse. Love that one. MAC does some great compacts too. Jewelry has been a big theme over the last decade in terms of beauty as well. So we've seen Marc Jacobs when he came up with his Daisy solid rings. So again, this solid fragrance that was in with the Daisy ring, and he did a number of variations. There were necklaces and different kinds of rings. Dior did an amazing cocktail ring, and I'm just going to sort of figure it out. You can sort of see here with Swarovski crystals, a mirror, and this whole turquoise Dior kind of look. And then I remember it popped up, and you've got two different lip glosses. So again, this was, I would say, I think this was like 5 or 6 years ago. But again, beautifully done, beautifully designed. They also did this wonderful pendant, so they did, and that popped up for a gloss as well. But again, it's really blurring the lines between beauty and fashion and accessories. So well done. This is kind of unique. This is a lotus. You can sort of see the lotus shape that Lancome did one season. And it's actually very heavy. It's very heavy on the bottom. But if you open it up, it's a lotus. So again, it's got eyeshadows and lipsticks and some mirrors here. But again, it's this whole appreciation of beauty and art. These were very artistic. I thought this was really, really well done. One of my favorite things that Hard Candy, a California-based beauty company, came up with was they did fortune-telling lip glosses. So in the cap, they had a lucky 8 ball, and it's really hard to see now because this is really old, but it would sort of say yes or no or looks good or don't try it. So where you're going out with your friends, you've got your lip gloss, you could ask your lip gloss, for fortune-telling, should you buy this lip gloss? And, it would probably say yes most of the time. Again, really a lot of fun. NARS, a couple of years ago, for Christmas, did a collaboration with the Andy Warhol organization, and I thought that this was so beautiful, an Andy Warhol print in an actual compact. So lovely for that. That was really, really well done. Now take a look at this. This is kind of fun. So Giorgio Armani did this whole Hollywood compact. Look at this. The lights turn on. So again, you can sort of look, and again, it sort of reflects the whole Hollywood star kind of thing, like you're in a dressing room at a studio. So again, that's sort of his whole, that was a really fun design. And then we have a cute little collaboration that Shu Uemura did, and again, with another artist here, and this cute little cat motif that they did. That was one season. And then, of course, always Guerlain with their terracotta palettes. It's, I gotta open it on the other end here. Again, beautiful designs, and they do these every summer, limited edition, and some of them are the most beautiful that you can buy. So again, these are some of the highlights from Dave's Beauty Archives. I hope you've enjoyed them. They're almost like little works of art, and so beautiful and inspiring to look at.